Have you ever noticed that the men who seem to care the least, the ones who don't chase, don't beg, don't fold under pressure, somehow attract women like a magnet? It feels unfair, doesn't it? You pour out effort, you show your emotions, you try to prove yourself worthy, and yet she pulls away. Meanwhile, the guy who doesn't care whether she texts back or not becomes the one she craves at night. This isn't an accident, and it's not about good looks or money. It's a psychological trap built deep inside female attraction. And if you've ever felt that heartbreak of being ignored while another man barely lifts a finger and still gets everything, you're about to discover why. What I'm about to reveal is not comfortable. It will sting, because it challenges what you've been taught about love, loyalty, and what it means to be a good man. But the truth is, women are not drawn to endless availability. They are wired, both biologically and socially, to chase the man who doesn't collapse under the weight of their emotions. The man who doesn't care too much is not careless. He's detached from the need for validation. And that detachment drives women insane. I need you to feel the weight of this. Women don't fall in love with men they can control. They fall in love with men they can't quite figure out. And if you've been too easy to read, too predictable, too emotionally transparent, you've been disqualifying yourself without even realizing it. It's not that women don't appreciate kindness, they do. But when kindness turns into neediness, when care becomes desperation, attraction dies. Because deep inside, a woman doesn't want to be the center of your entire world. She wants to be part of a world that already has purpose, direction, and strength, with or without her. That's why men who don't care, who don't obsess, who don't crumble, become unforgettable. And if you've ever wondered why she walked away when you gave her everything, the answer lives right here, inside the psychology you were never meant to uncover. Here's the paradox you've been living without even realizing it. The more you care about winning her, the less she feels she has to fight for you. And the moment a woman stops fighting, she stops feeling alive in the relationship. Women crave the spark of uncertainty. Not because they're cruel, but because uncertainty activates the deepest layers of attraction in the female mind. When she doesn't know exactly how you feel, when she's unsure whether she has fully captured your attention, her brain floods with dopamine and adrenaline. Those chemicals aren't love, they're addiction. That's why she keeps thinking about the man who doesn't text back right away, who isn't always available, who has his own priorities. He becomes her obsession, not because he treats her badly, but because he isn't enslaved by her validation. Now, I want you to think back to the times you've bent over backward for a woman. Maybe you drove miles just to see her, answered every call immediately, texted back within seconds, bought her gifts, proved your devotion over and over. And what happened? She lost interest. She drifted away. You thought, maybe I wasn't enough. But here's the brutal truth. You were too much attention, too much availability, too much predictability. What you gave was not wrong in itself, but it stripped away the very tension that fuels attraction. A woman cannot desire what she already fully possesses. She only desires what she fears losing. And when you put yourself in the position of constantly reassuring, constantly chasing, constantly giving, you remove all fear of loss. You become safe, predictable, and easy. And easy never excites. The men who appear not to care keep their own lives bigger than the relationship. They're not cruel, they're not selfish, they're sovereign. Their happiness doesn't depend on her mood. Their confidence isn't shaken if she pulls away. They don't collapse when she tests their boundaries. And women test constantly, not to hurt you, but to feel you. To know whether your strength is real, or if it's just a mask that cracks the moment pressure appears. That's why women love men who don't care too much, because not caring isn't about ignoring her. It's about refusing to place her above your own self-respect. That psychological posture creates gravity. It makes her lean in, wonder about you, question herself. And when she's questioning herself, she's already addicted to you. Most men have been lied to since childhood. You were told to always be gentle, to never upset her, to prove your love through endless sacrifice. And yet, the men who follow that script end up confused, heartbroken, wondering why loyalty and devotion didn't buy them desire. Here's what no one told you. Attraction is not built on fairness. It's built on polarity. And polarity means tension, distance, the pull between two forces that don't fully merge. The moment you collapse into her world, making her your sun and your oxygen, you erase the very space she needs to feel attraction. She doesn't want to suffocate under your devotion. She wants to orbit around your gravity. Think of it like this. The man who doesn't care too much is not trying to impress her. He's too busy living. He has a mission. He has standards. He has things he will and will not tolerate. And when she sees that, it creates respect before it creates lust. Respect is the seed of desire. Without it, nothing grows. A man who chases loses respect. A man who stands firm, who doesn't flinch when she pulls back, who can say no without fear, he becomes unforgettable. And here's the dark truth. Women will often test you without even realizing it. She'll ignore your text. She'll provoke you. She'll question your worth. Not because she hates you, but because her psychology is searching for evidence of your strength. If you react with anger, panic, or desperation, she loses attraction instantly. But if you remain calm, grounded, unbothered, you become the very challenge her mind can't let go of. Every man wants to be loved for who he is. But here's the brutal paradox. You can only be loved when you stop begging for it. Love isn't earned through need. It's granted through respect. And respect comes when she sees that her beauty, her curves, her attention don't make you abandon yourself. That's what makes her feel safe, not the endless apologies, not the constant pursuit. Men who don't care too much don't run after women. They let women run toward them. And if you've ever been in the painful position of chasing, pleading, waiting for her to choose you, understand this. The moment you stopped being scarce, you stopped being valuable. And in the female mind, value is everything. Let me tell you something most men never hear directly from a woman. Indifference is seductive. Not cruelty, not neglect, but the quiet confidence of a man who knows he doesn't have to beg for love. That energy creates a tension inside her that she can't ignore. Because when a woman feels that you could walk away at any moment and still be whole, her instincts scream, "Don't lose him." And that panic is what keeps her invested. This is why men who care too much, who constantly prove their loyalty, who never hold back, get dismissed. They don't spark that primal fear of loss. They feel too secure, too available, too owned. And owned things are never desired with the same hunger. Understand this. Women live in emotional worlds. They are pulled toward mystery, toward the unknown, toward the man they cannot fully read. When you reveal everything, when you show every insecurity, when you strip away all distance, you rob her of that mystery. She may appreciate your honesty, but appreciation is not attraction. Attraction is born from curiosity, from uncertainty, from tension. The man who doesn't care too much keeps her guessing, not by playing games, but by refusing to surrender his entire soul on the first request. Think about the strongest men in history. Leaders, warriors, creators. They were not defined by chasing women. They were defined by chasing purpose. Women followed them because they felt that power, that direction. The truth is brutal but simple. A man who doesn't care too much about pleasing her creates more desire than a man who sacrifices everything to win her approval. And that is because women are not wired to desire control. They are wired to desire strength. If you want proof, look at how she reacts to the men she says she doesn't like. The player, the bad boy, the emotionally unavailable type. She complains about him, swears he's wrong for her, but still obsesses over him. Why? Because he doesn't need her. His world spins with or without her. That indifference intoxicates her because it flips the script. Suddenly, she's the one chasing. And women love the chase even more than men do. So the man who doesn't care too much isn't cruel. He's free. And freedom is the rarest, most attractive quality a man can have. Here's the part no one admits out loud. Women are addicted to emotional contrast. The highs and lows, the tension and release, the uncertainty of not fully owning a man's heart. That's what keeps her awake at night, checking her phone, replaying conversations in her head, wondering what he's thinking. When you are always available, always affirming, always predictable, you flatten that contrast. She feels safe, but she doesn't feel alive. And a woman would rather feel alive and confused than safe and bored. That's why she runs toward the man who doesn't care too much. Because his indifference leaves space for her imagination to fill. And imagination is stronger than reality. When she doesn't know if you're fully invested, her brain writes stories. Does he like me? Why hasn't he called? Is he with someone else? Every unanswered question pulls her deeper into obsession. This is not manipulation. It's how her psychology works. Her attraction is fueled by uncertainty, and men who don't care too much naturally create that uncertainty by living lives that don't revolve around her. He's not ignoring her. He's busy. He's focused. He's not desperate to prove himself because he already knows his value. And here's the harsh truth. Women do not respect men who place them on pedestals. Respect dies the moment she feels she has more power than you. She might enjoy the attention. She might use the comfort. But deep inside, her desire slips away. Desire only grows when she looks at you and realizes she can't control you. That loss of control terrifies her, and that terror is what binds her attraction. Think of the men who get chased, the men who become unforgettable. They're not the ones showering women with gifts, begging for affection, flooding them with messages. They're the ones who give just enough to spark desire, but never so much that it feels guaranteed. They keep their boundaries. They protect their time. They are kind, but they are not submissive. They are caring, but they are not consumed. That balance makes a woman lean in, because she senses that he values himself more than he values her approval. And that is the trap. Women fall hardest for the man who never asked to be chosen. Every man needs to hear this. The moment you make a woman your purpose, you've already lost her. Women are drawn to men who have purpose, not men who replace purpose with her. The man who doesn't care too much isn't saying, "I don't value you." He's saying, "I value myself first." And that shift is everything. Because when she sees that you won't bend your backbone just to please her, she feels both frustrated and fascinated. Frustrated because she can't control you. Fascinated because she can't stop trying. That endless pull is where her desire grows. Now let me expose something raw about female psychology. Women want to feel chosen, but they never want to feel like they are your only option. When she senses you couldn't attract anyone else, when she feels like you're desperate for her approval, she loses interest. But when she sees other women notice you, when she feels that you could walk away and still thrive, she's forced to compete. And competition ignites her attraction faster than compliments ever will. Men who don't care too much naturally give off that aura, because they aren't chasing. They're being chased. Think about it. Why do women say they want a strong man? Because strength means you won't collapse under pressure. You won't beg. You won't crumble when she pulls away. And here's the paradox. She will pull away. She will test you, because that's how she finds out if your strength is real. If you panic, if you argue, if you over-explain, you prove that her emotions control you. But if you remain grounded, steady, calm, unshaken, you prove that nothing controls you. That's when she surrenders. That's when she respects you. A woman will give her body to many men, but her soul only to the man she cannot break. And that man is never the one who cared too much, never the one who abandoned himself to win her affection. It's always the one who stood firm, who could walk away, who lived by standards and refused to compromise them. That's why the man who doesn't care becomes the man she loves hardest, because he loves himself enough not to give himself away cheaply.